Hello. Thanks for coming to witness. I'm just Jake. This is Al. And this is Betty. This is the God stick. I'm serious about that. This is my favorite way to commune with, I'll just call it that which is greater. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want. Allah. I can call it Allah. I'm down with that. Allah. Yeah, same thing to me. The Force, same thing. Universe, whatever you want to call it. There's just a sense that as we look at everything unfolding around us, and we really just drop into the mystery of it all, it's undeniable. There is something greater. And mystics, poets, scientists, religious fanatics, spiritual seekers, quantum physicists. I mean, isn't it all trying to prove or disprove God? All of it. All of it. Split the atom, combine the atom. I am God. You're right. You are. You are. When are you going to realize that? This is what I call JakeLive, quadcasting. We bring together light, sound, thought, and communion. Communion with friends, like real friends. Not the friends that you tell the same old tired stories, to repeat the same old stories. I mean, they're great. Remember that time in college? Man, had great times, but man, almost 40 years ago. High school, 45 years ago. Thereabouts. The stories we tell, it's like our history. The stories we tell in our families, that's our family history. It's an agreed upon accounting of what happened. All history is told by the victors. Apparently, I'm not one of those. I'll settle for survivor. I'm still here. Against all odds, I suffered horrific abuse as a child. Sexual, physical, emotional, psychological, horrific. And the world finds that hard to believe because I have wonderful parents. And they are. I'm not taking any of that away from them. Because I know what they faced as children. I know. And that was horrific. And that's just how things unfold and it gets passed down. So those of you who knew my parents, Jean and Arthur Bennett, I am not sullying their reputation at all. I love them both dearly. And the more real I become about what I experienced growing up in that household as their son, was beyond imagination. And I wasn't aware of it. I was not even aware. A lot of this happened pre-verbal or at a very, very young age. There were a variety of traumas that I suffered. One being hospitalized at a year old for nearly 2 weeks, nearly died of pneumonia. That was a horrific experience. I didn't really appreciate the impact of that until probably the last 3 or 4 years. My first ayahuasca retreat in December of 2022 in the jungles of the Amazon, South America and Peru. I had a re-experience of that hospital stay. Wow. Yeah, that was a terrifying night. Wow. There were probably 6 people tending to me at the end of the night. Thank you, all of them. They've all since left, scattered. See, I've lived a life of outrageous suffering, and I hit it very well. You would not have guessed it. People are surprised now. My sister knew. My sister Liz knew. Noted trauma psychologist. She knew. We were very open about it. But she knew more than she was telling me. She knew I suffered. And she knew quite a bit about why I suffered. But she didn't share that with me. And lo and behold, when I start looking at the truth of my childhood experience, now my siblings, 4 of them, 6, 7, and 10 and 11 years older than me, grew up in the same household. I was there for a stretch with them. I don't know what happened before I came along, but I do. We're raised by the same parents. I've heard the stories of my mother being absolutely unhinged and screaming at my brother Paul when he was just an infant, child number 1. Screaming, losing her shit. My sister told me my father told her that story. Yeah. Know all the stories. My mother hit my sister so hard on her bottom with a lucite brush, she broke the brush. A mother whose father was put in an orphanage, supposedly by his mother when he was a small child, with his little brother left there. The story was that my grandfather and his brother were just too much for their mother. And here I am, a small child who has just... the nervous system is just fried from his early childhood experiences and was needed a lot of loving and care. And who was too much for a manic depressive mother who, as my sister told me, and as I had intuited, would disappear for days, weeks at a time in the attic, in her darkness, leaving me to be cared for by, what I call the flies, right? I was raised by the group. Who's got the baby? What about the baby? Why is the baby's arm dangling? Right? I was born and there were 2 little girls in the house, 6 and 7 years old, Kate and Liz. Became their little plaything. It's hard to face what we experienced as children through an honest lens. All of us, it's hard to face what we experienced as children through an honest lens. It simply is. And so it makes my siblings extremely uncomfortable when I speak aloud the truth of my experience, because they know that is the truth of their experience deep down. And instead of, they can't even see it. This is subconscious, and but inexplicably, after they claimed for nearly 60 years that, how well loved and adored I've been by them, when I simply use my words and say, what is going on here? They not only run, they toss hand grenades behind him and they tell everyone he's crazy, you have to stay away from him. It's true. My sister Liz coordinated with the head of the spiritual community I was a part of, the shamanic community. got that involved, I lost it all. My dear friends in that community, I was unfairly disparaged, mischaracterized by a shaman who was, I think, just caught in his own fear. So here I sit, I am orphaned. Both of my parents are gone. You see, when my parents were everything that you saw. There's no lie in that. Everything that you saw, but they were much more than that. They were those wonderful people, made such an impact on the city of New Bedford. That was real. Despite the suffering that they both held. Like, you do not know how my father suffered the last few years when my mother passed, or before that. Suffered with hidden memories. You know, these things get stored away. How do I know my siblings are holding these in their subconscious? Because I was. 15 years ago, I realized the truth of an experience that I had with a cousin who's 4.5, nearly 5 years older than me when I was a little boy, between 8 and 10 or so. I had disclosed that to my father. And he didn't do anything about it. Left me to handle it, to stop it. And I did. As a little boy, I found the courage to say no. Yet I found the courage to say it loud enough so my cousin would get it, but he wouldn't get in trouble with his father, who was notoriously violent. My uncle, notoriously violent, beat the living shit out of his oldest son, who'd suffered horrific burns at 5 years old, like 95% of his body. Poor Stephen Kistler was just scarred all over. We lost Stevie at, I think, about 22 years old, died in a small plane crash in the Florida Keys. They were out for a joy fly at night. And I think as the story went, the small plane hit the overhead wires near the 7 Mile Bridge, went down. Everyone survived but Stephen. He drowned. What I heard was that he was still strapped into a seat and half in and half out a window. It's just terrible. It's very hard I think that was about the same time that I told my father about my abuse, maybe shortly thereafter. My aunt was having a very difficult time, and my mother just couldn't bear to put that on her sister, and so she left it on me. I went to bed that night after having disclosed this to my father. It wasn't like I went to him. He was asking me, it was something else, and we won't get into it now, but it was, when he heard I did that, I could feel it to this day. He felt shame. It was his shame that he felt. He'd asked me if it had happened with anyone else, and he was holding his breath. I know, I was there. I felt the darkness. I'll never forget that moment. I went to bed that night feeling so much shame. I prayed to God that my mother wouldn't come. I couldn't bear it. Could not bear it. She didn't come. Not that night, not ever. So I lived with it. It was shame, so it was kind of in the background, but it was always in front of me. It was a filter through which I witnessed my experience, my life. This ugly filter of shame. I limited myself because of that. I thought that, look, it's not like I had aspirations to be president, but I knew that in my mind that was off the table. I wouldn't be able to bear the public scrutiny if they'd known what I had done. If my teammates in the locker room knew what I had done. quarterback with a secret. That was hard. That was very hard. And so I simply can't abide the bullshit. And so when they say no, I speak loud. Yes, don't threaten them, except they feel very threatened with the truth. They do not want to look at this. That my parents were who they were despite their suffering is amazing. I wish you knew what they were holding, how magnificent they were in spite of what they had experienced, and the sins they thought they had committed, either as children or as parents. None of it is anybody's fault. Those things that happened, it's all conditioning. We don't even see it. Yeah, you just don't even see it. This is not new stuff. This is psychology. This is modern psychology. We know this is how it works. Ask any trauma therapist. This is how it works. These are the memories that we are trying to recover so that we can heal and be whole. And I just won't stop, and people can't tolerate that. So I'm an orphan. I am in this world. I have no family. No family that will speak to me. I have 2 sons, but they're doing their own thing, and they don't understand me. They don't trust me. Not like, no. I love you guys, but yeah, it's okay. You owe me nothing. You owe me nothing, but I'm always here. I'm not getting rid of you, but you're gonna have to learn who I am if you really want to have a relationship with me. So this afternoon, I had quite the upset to my system. Wow, quite the upset. It began, I don't know, around 2:30 or so, with a knock on my door. Nothing good comes from a knock on my door of late, over the last year or so. Nothing good. It's always, it's the police inexplicably knocking on my door at 10:30 at night because the neighbor says there's a dog barking over here. They show up and there's no dog barking, but the neighbor says it's over here, and they knock on my door waking me up at 10:30. Dogs barking at night is normal. I have well-conditioned, well-adapted dogs, and I have a very delicate condition of my nervous system, and they help me to balance things. And dogs do not create disturbance. They reflect the disturbance that's already there. We know that. Coyotes howl, the dogs bark. Someone's coming towards your yard late at night, the dog barks. That's what you want. But what the neighbor and what the local police are effectively saying is, you got a house alarm. I did this once when we had a house alarm, and the alarm goes off in the middle of the night. Fuck the alarms. No one's paying attention to the alarms, right? It's just they're all nuisance alarms, right? So I go bust an ass downstairs and put the numbers in, turn off the alarm, and then go back upstairs to bed. My kid's mom, who grew up with a very paranoid mother and father, with locks and locks and locks on the door and alarms on the house. She says, well, how do you know no one's breaking in? Good question. I don't think so. Doesn't seem like it, but good question. The police of all people are like running to shut up the dog. They do. First off, they show up. They don't even listen. Is there a dog barking? No, just knock on my door. So apparently, someone can call and say, middle of the night, hey, go knock on that door. I hear something in the yard. And they come and knock on the door. Like, take that big ass flashlight and go scan the shoreline. What if you think there's something going on? Do an investigation. Right, but that's not happening. Time and time again, the Fairhaven police are knocking on my door late at night. In one case, actually opened my slider. not late at night, that was during the day, came into my yard, opened my slider looking for me because my dog had stepped out of the yard and was laying behind my car. I thought that was okay. People, this is like, again, that's a constitutional violation. The police cannot just come walking on your porch at that hour and cannot come and begin peering into your house and opening your slider because your dog is laying behind your car on the street. You can't do that, Frank. The animal control officer has been all over my ass. She supposedly knows my dogs are service animals protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And still, she impounds my service dog knowingly. I was right there. She could have just brought it back to me. No. She wanted to make a point because the dog hadn't had his license. She hadn't had her license yet, her rabies vaccine, because I was working with a conventional vet. The vet said, you need to wait. She's sick. We would have gotten there, Kelsey. Dogs bark. 2 cruisers arrived 10:30 at night, high speed. That's about exactly a year ago, almost 11 months ago. Yeah, I've got the text messages from my 2 neighbors who never heard a dog bark, but they saw the cruisers arrive at high speed and were texting each other. What's going on? Is John okay? What were you guys looking for? I'll give you the dates. Town of Fairhaven, you can look into that. What do you say, Chief? Let's look into that, shall we? The whole list of them. Check out Rui across the street. What position is he holding in the town government? Because he's in the town government. Elected or appointed, I don't know what. You know, the neighbor that's calling the cops over and over and over again has been since I moved in here for silly ass shit like my little drone or whatever going sliding over the top of his house on 4th of July as I'm trying to figure out how to fly it. He's spying on us. Come and knock on my door. Hey, then, you know, that upsets me. No, call the cops. He's a townie. He runs an auto body shop, and he's buddy with all the guys on the force, right? It's harassment, and the town is involved in it. Yeah, it is harassment, and the town is involved in it, and is breaking a number of my constitutional, civil, and I'll dare say human rights. I would love it if someone would look into this a little bit and not leave it to me. I'm having enough on my plate, just getting by in this world, honestly. My disability, the most, it's exceptionally rare. The most apt description would be something called Kundalini illness. It's exceptionally rare, but it's real. And that's what I experience. It's a powerful emergence of what's known to be this spiritual energy that sits at the root of the spine. When the yogis are sitting in the cave, meditating, focus, concentration, that's what causes it. Okay? Deep, prolonged concentration and focus on a single thing. And that's been me. That's been me for 5 years straight. I had my first Kundalini awakening experience about 12 or 13 years ago on retreat. And then a massive eruption in September 2022. That's when things got really exciting. It's when the shit started to hit the fan. So anyway, here I am. I have this rare and almost completely misunderstood condition. But there are plenty of books. Living with Kundalini, Farther Shores. It explains it. These are not 1,000-year-old books. These are current texts. I have a single friend, like true friend. I love all of you, like JB, Johnny B, who have been it from when. Um, but in terms of people that can really allow me as I am and don't get scared off when I become expressive, true love, true allowance. A single friend close by. She lives across the street, my dear friend Daryl. I tell Daryl, you want to come visit? Do not knock, just walk in the door. She's my sitcom friend. Hey, Daryl. It's cool. It's wonderful. Because when someone's knocking on my door, it's just not coming. So I don't answer. If you come to my door, if you have to knock, make an appointment. If you don't have a piece of paper that says you get to come in, make an appointment. Make an appointment. So there's a knock at my door, at my door about, 2:30, 3 o'clock. Knock, knock, knock. I'm sitting in my living room over here. No, I couldn't get up if I wanted to. I was exhausted. I've been housebound the last 3, 4, 5 days. I just can't get out. And when I walk through my front door, I just feel the oppression. That's what I have to deal with. And so the dogs go to the door and they're barking a little bit. I mean, they're being really, really good, but they're a little excited. Knock, 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 knock for like 5 minutes. Finally, it stopped. Cool. I get curious after a little bit. I say, well, I'll go check. Just go check, and I look out, and there are fire trucks out in front of my house. Fire trucks. Holy shit, what's going on? So I open the door, and there's a firefighter there, and he comes over. I said, hey, what? I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't answer the door. I'm really not feeling well, and I was resting. And I just couldn't get up and answer the door. He said, well, that was your neighbor. And he called us. He said, you got an issue with the service line, the electrical service line coming into your house, and it's fallen, and it's in the trees, and he says it's like sparking and smoking. Sure enough, it was. My neighbor who had come by, Barry, and sent me the video. I was like, holy shit, wow. Well, they said, we're going to call Eversource. They'll get it taken care of. I said, okay, cool. He said, you still got electricity? Yeah, I still got electricity. That's good. So Eversource comes. This guy, Mike, he was really the technician. We chatted a little bit because I started my career working with the utility and was in, was not in the union. And of course, being in, quote unquote management, we had strike assignments just in case. And so I got trained to work on the utility poles, and that was fun. The training was fun. So I said I can kind of relate, and so we chatted a little bit about what he was there to do. Well, Mike he said, well, we're going to have to turn off the power for a little bit, but it'll be okay, and I'll be right back on. Okay, cool. So power goes off. Okay, that's cool. And then there's a knock on the door. It's Mike, right? I don't know about it because I know Mike's knocking on the door. Okay, Mike, what's up? He says, I can't believe it. He says, never happened before. He said, that the big heavy cable that like holds the other ones and clamps onto the house just snapped. He said, I can't replace that. That's not me. That's not us. You have to hire an electrician for that. I said, like, it's Sunday. I mean, he says, yeah, I don't know if we'll be able to. He says, you got an electrician? I said, I don't have an electrician. Come out here. And he said, well, I got a couple of cards, a couple of guys that you might call. And so we started with that, but I'm freaking out. How long is it going to take to my electricity? I mean, it's cold out. It's raining. I'm barely holding it together as it is. I got people leaving nasty birthday messages on my Facebook thing. It's like, seriously, like, do I need this? And yeah, I just had a moment of, not a moment, an extended period of just sheer terror and collapse. Just wanting to be gone from here. I'm not suicide, but like, my God, My God. It's like, when will life let me breathe? When will y'all let me breathe? You've heard about my dear friend Mercy. And she'd been having a tough morning. And so I was there for her this morning to support her and hold her as she was dealing with what she had going on. Mercy is just an outrageously powerful healer, a medicine woman. And I know most of you don't know what that means, but you need to experience her. It's the real deal. And I already knew it was the real deal because we are exceptionally close, because we have identical mirror image childhood and life experiences. Mirror image. And so Mercy had gotten from me in the morning what she needed, because I approach her all the time with, what's your experience, dear one? What's your experience? Where are you now? And she wants to know, where am I? Because we come to each other, what are your needs? Not so I can go run around and get it, but if I know her needs and we both sit in that space and she knows my needs, we sit with allowance. And suddenly between the two of us, things start to come up. And there's this love exchange. And the needs get filled. It's not like they disappear, but Mercy, yeah, what do we do this? Suddenly, we're so good. She's all set with the campground she's heading to so she can do some more cleansing. You know what plane she needs to take later in the week as she goes to visit a friend out in Aspen to do some shamanic work out there. And I'm having an absolute freak out, and I'm feeling it bad. I'm releasing something very old, some very old fear. And it has just got me thrown into just wailing and contorting, and I'm feeling this huge pulse under my ribs on my left side, which has been just eating at me since, months and months. And slowly there's stuff getting released from there. I did a lot of crying and wailing with Mercy on the phone, holding me as she can. I caught my breath long enough. There was a knock on the door, and it was Mike, the technician, and he said, "Hey, when did you come out and take a look at something? I'm sorry to keep dragging out in the rain. I'm freezing." He says, "But can you come take a look at something? I've got an idea." And he's making a suggestion, and we've gotten in touch with one of the electricians that he knows. Two local electricians, by the way, here that I would recommend highly: Eric Viveris in Westport, and Nathan Dean. Look them up. They were both very, very kind and willing to do whatever they could on a Sunday to help me. Because as I said, look, I've got a disability. I have nowhere to go. Daryl could take me in. She's got an extra room. I got these two dogs. She's got her dogs. Not a problem of having my dogs there. But my dogs need to be able to get outside. On the regular, she doesn't have a fenced yard, and I take a rash of shit. Anytime my dog wanders into, just isn't right there. Dogs aren't going around and shitting in people's yards and stuff like that. They're just going saying hello, but still it's a rash of shit. It is stressful. I do not have the energy for it. It's not like I'm done with it. I can only stand for about 2 minutes, and I have to sit down. Everything from the waist down is just like, it's a phase. It's a phase in my awakening. That's what it is. It's a spiritual awakening, and this is a phase of it. I've been begging the younger of my two brothers, the only one who has had some modicum of allowance for me, because I see him. He's neurodivergent, and his siblings have made him feel less than because he struggled with school so mightily. And academics were exceptionally important to my father. My mother used to tutor my brother Alan at the dining room table. She got it. She was the same way. She was neurodivergent. Wasn't my father tutoring him. The teacher, nope. Mom got my brother through school and into college. So proud of him. So proud of him. He's amazing, my brother Alan. But he can't be there for me. I've been begging him for some true support. Stand up for me, bro. That's what I've been saying. Stand up for me. Tell them I'm not crazy. Tell them they're missing it. Tell them they are continuing. They're exacerbating the abuse that I felt. And then like my brother Paul and my sister Kate, who will not talk to me, and have told the war, like my sister Kate, who told the court I needed to be hospitalized, despite the fact I told her, you know, they have the nerve to reach out to me on my birthday and say, happy birthday. I said, do you not realize you are re-triggering this recent trauma? It's horrific. It's horrific, and I'm really going through a challenging time. So anyway, I asked Mercy, who's on the phone with me. She's like, I'm not going anywhere. And she means it. I heard that a lot from Nicole. I'm not going anywhere. And off she went. I heard that my entire life. So Mercy said, yeah, I'll hold on right here. And I set the phone down. I was probably outside for 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes in the rain with Mike. He's showing me this. I said, yeah, let's do that. And he says, okay, cool. The electrician will be on his way. All right. Awesome. Don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe we'll see. Right? It was actually before the electrician was on his way. We did not know how this was going to get fixed. But instead of praying to what we call God, what Mercy and I call God, Mercy and I are both very attuned, well, to all lineages, but we do love the Christ lineage, and that yeah, but all of them, Mercy's all about Ganesh, and wherever we can pull in that spiritual energy that we need for the moment. If it's Muhammad or Allah or David, or Isis, whatever. It's all just an energetic signature, and it's within us. And what is needed now? Where do we need to be for this next moment? And so it's this thing. Mercy's waiting on the phone, and I'm outside talking to the Eversource technician. And I come in, I get on the phone, I pick up the phone again, and she says, John, I've just been working with Spirit. And we were in our prayers. Sorry, moving back in our prayers. So we're praying to God. We're praying. We call it Spirit. We're praying, Holy Spirit. You got God. The Spirit is the spark, the energy that the God is everywhere. Spirit enlivens it, right? That's life flowing through it. In the Christian mythology, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father is the God, is the big presence. The Son is us, and the Holy Spirit is that which enlivens all of us and all of it. It is all the Son. As we experience it directly, you can experience it your way, and we allow for that. As long as you allow for this, now we're good. So she tells me, so when we were praying, we don't say, "Oh God, please, please give us this. Oh God, please give us this. Oh God." That's tends where I would tend to go. And Mercy has shown me. She's teaching me how to pray in a powerful way. And we don't ask, please. We say thank you, because we know, we trust. Thank you. We know that we're going to get what we need here. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And when I came in, I was still, I was in it. She said, "John, I've just been talking to God in spirit, and dear one, your electricity is going to be on by 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is like maybe 4:45 at this point." And I proceed. At that point, I had crawled under the covers in my first floor bedroom here, and just let it all flow through me. It was painful. Man, was I wailing. It was wave after wave of just fear and despair, and it was just all nondescript. It's pre-verbal. Perhaps even gestational. I mean, because you're there in the womb. You're there. You're experiencing all of it. I know. I was there. So I'd be wailing, and then kind of catching my breath, and Mercy's there. "I've got you. It's okay. I've got you." And she's saying, I am here for you. This is not the person that you were supporting in the morning. I am here for you. I got what I needed, and now I'm here for you. So it's like handing the hot potato back and forth. Right? I took the potato this morning. Oh God, hold on. So she could have her space and get what she needed. And she was basically saying, "I'm ready to take that potato back. I have what I need, and I'm here for you." And I am in my car, and she had about a 40-minute drive to the campground she was heading to. And she proceeded to just sing me lullabies. Some Icaros, some healing Icaros, and lullabies. She mothered me. I realized as she did, I wept, and I wept, and I wept. I cried almost as hard as I did when I was in agony at the sheer the potency of that love that I have so long needed. And I realized I'd never gotten that. I didn't have a mother singing lullabies to me when I needed it most. And not my mom's fault. I love her dearly. She is I draw on her energy all the time. When it comes to my father, I have, this presence. Thank you, Dad, but I have this presence, and I received your gift. Thank you. And we made our amends on a higher level, but my father was not something that supported so much as something I needed to overcome in this lifetime. That's the plain truth of it. You all had a different experience of him. He saved his best for you. I got a lot of the good stuff too, but so Mercy and I are kind of looking at backup plans and stuff to say, okay, what are the options? It's frightening. I'm alone. I'm all alone, and something like that suddenly, potentially, shelter is taken away from you, and you're in no condition to pack up. I'm in no condition to pack up and go somewhere. It's not thinking, can I get an Airbnb that will take 2 dogs? Despair, absolute despair, fear, heartache, It just shines a bright light on the truth that I'm utterly alone. And I'm sitting there. I'm laying there actually. It was starting to feel a tiny bit better. It was. I had gotten it out. A lot of burps, and the pain as this lump underneath my lower left rib cage starts moving up and towards the sternum, which is a good thing because it's trying to get release and come up into the heart. Thank you, God, for helping it to find its resting place as it moves on up. Thank you. You know, I'm stressing about, am I going to be able to keep my phone charged, so I have this lifeline to this dear friend. And then I realized, okay, at the very least, I could charge my phone in the car. Okay, well, there's that. I can get my car nice and warm if I have to, and there's that. And Mercy said, you know, if you have to, we'll have a night in the dark. It's okay. We have blankets. We have candles. And, you know, we can pull the old, not the safest thing, but, you know, crack a window maybe and put the stove on, or and crack the door and just put the stove on warm and get a little heat into the house if need be. We've done this before. She said, we've been in the jungle. We don't need a lot, right? Okay, we'll be able to get through. And then the lights flickered. The lights flickered on. Whoa, how about that? I look at the phone. 6:01. Whoa. This is not like no, this woman is doing this all the time. All the time. There's no crazier than I am. I'm seeing and feeling the same exact things. You just see it, you get a sense, you say, boom, she has 6 o'clock. It's going to be 6 o'clock. Bang, there it is. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You have to check. This is not about me. You have to check out Mercy Rose. She's here for all of us. I'm eternally grateful that she is my friend. One, Mercy needs my support, needs me to be strong and be there for her. It's a familiar place for me. I've been married twice and in 3 long-term intimate relationships, all of which have ended pretty disastrously. And know well what can happen when I try to provide support that's not exactly what the other wants. Suddenly it's my fault. The whole shitstorm is my fault. Whatever they're dealing with, bad haircut, tough day at work, it's my fault. Because why can't you? I am doing my fucking best. I am doing my best. Sometimes you want words, sometimes you want silence. Just tell me. Mercy said this morning, I started giving her some encouragement, and she said, John, she wasn't correct. She said, because a lot of that's just what she needs. She says, what would be perfect? I just need to bitch. I just need to vent right now. Cool. She's like, can you hold that? I said, fucking bring it on. Swear everything. What I'm able to give to her, that allowance, I don't suddenly say, oh, Mercy has a lot of work to do. Mercy's over. No, I just know this is a phase in the unfolding. Lay it on me, love, lay it on me. She doesn't tear into me because I don't know exactly what she needs. She lets me know, and then I say, cool, I can flow that. If she tears into me, I can't give her what she needs. Now I'm ducking and covering. What? No. right? So Carrie, Nicole, Sharon didn't do it, so she didn't really let me help her. But Carrie and Nicole, my God, you guys are fucking brutal. Brutal. Did I mention? Brutal. Mercy sees me. She sees the intention in my heart. She knows how loving I am. And she's like, I like some of that. How can I get that, right? How can we keep that flowing? She's experienced that. And so that's what we do together. Let me help you to let that love flow into me. John, dear one, let me help you. Let me show you so that we can both experience that love flowing into you and into me. And we both get healed by that, because when it flows into me and into her, then it begins to flow into her and into me. It is so glorious. It was the experience that I had when I was in my agony and my hell earlier, a few hours ago. It was the same exact experience that I am familiar with on a really gnarly medicine journey, what you all might call a bad trip. And bad trip is just you coming nose to nose with your darkness, that which you do not want to see, that which my siblings do not want to see. I want to see it because I want to rid myself of it. I'm not taking any medicine. In fact, I have it's tobacco only. It has been for the last few days. I was not using large amounts of what you would call medicine. I was using my modest amounts of cannabis, which I have for over a decade, to manage to manage my nervous system and my triggers owing to my history of complex PTSD. Super complex PTSD, twistedly complex PTSD, like a mind fuck, like 6 decades of mind fuck, and heart fuck, and body fuck, and emotion fuck, you name it. Distortion, it's like your entire life. How do you make sense of the world when you're being gaslighted? When you say, well, I see, no, that didn't happen. It's gaslighting my entire life. And now they're, laying on the scapegoating and the pathologizing. It's my experience. What you're witnessing when you see these hours and hours and hours of these quadcasts is my spiritual awakening as I go through this process of embodiment. Anyone who's a spiritual seeker would do well to take some of this in, because this is not, I haven't found any texts that explain this. None. I haven't spoken to anyone who considers them a guru or a spiritual teacher or anything. None of them know anything about this these stages of the spiritual unfolding, awakening. This is how I experience it. Yeah, they're chaotic. It's a lot of toxicity in there, a lot of clarified anger that's being released. This is not mine. This has to be released. This is other people's projections into me, and you all carry it as well. Every time you pass judgment on another, you're putting yours into them. Now they have to deal with it. That's how it works. Get curious. See the pain in this pain I'm in, and the struggle I'm engaged in. And watch this transcendent healer heal me, help me. She can do that for all of us. She's available. Check her out. Check out Mercy Rose. I've shared some of her posts. She's open for business. Reach out. She's offering her gift for free. She's offering her gift for free. Because as she heals you, she heals her, and as she heals her, it heals me. It's all one big thing. If it looks like I'm trying to get attention, it's only so that I can point you to her. I would also like the town to get off my back and make right and offer some compensation for what they've put me through. That's Fairhaven. We'll talk about Oak Bluffs, Edgartown, Berkeley later. My dogs have been champs. You know, they're working dogs, golden retrievers. They're used to getting out in the woods every single day. They've been stuck in the house with me. It's affecting all of us, meaning which I'm grateful for, because we're in it together. And as I have less energy to go and do with them what we usually do, their energy is chilling out. I'm feeling depleted. They've still got their energy, but they're resting a lot. They're falling in with me, which is a good thing. But yeah, that experience when I was really going through it was just like what we call onset in a plant medicine experience, the extreme turbulence. And Mercy tuned into that. She said, John, now where are you? Where are you in your ceremony? Because she knows that's how I witnessed, that's how I experienced life as ceremony. It's just like with the turbulence, it all feels like everything that I learned in my shamanic practice, my plant medicine practice, learning how to navigate that space and moving from one energetic frequency to another requires some turbulence, sometimes more extreme than others, and learning to tap into very subtle energies and so forth. Well, I mean, it was like I just drank a full cup of ayahuasca. And again, I haven't, no cannabis, and I haven't, I've been using, for the last 4 months, here and there, and introduced ketamine into my practice. Really the first psychoactive component, self-administered, synthesized by I hesitate to say humans, but Homo sapiens. It's natural to me. I see it now as natural, because whether the compound comes from a frog which emerged from all of this as a spawn of this planet and secrete some kind of toxin that will alter brain chemistry, or if it's produced by a Homo sapiens, which is a spawn of this planet. You know, we don't just do our sweat, right? But we have other things we can do because we've got this beautiful prefrontal cortex that's also fucking causing us misery. But, and I found that in this process of deep embodiment and having to get at, release these traumas, this dissonance from the cellular network, I needed some lubrication, and you know, ketamine is essentially an anesthetic, and that's what it does. It chills out the physical form's tendency to contract around things that are uncomfortable. So let it go out, let it go out. And it really helped me to get deeply in tune with my body. And it's cool that ketamine is becoming more widely accepted and used for PTSD and so forth. The clinics don't understand its power. The integration of a deep ketamine experience is totally different than the integration of any other mind or emotional field based components in my direct experience. Integrating an ayahuasca experience or San Pedro or psilocybin, bufo, changa, chacruna, any of these wonderful plants and compounds. The integration, which is that, you know, taking that experience, making sense of it, where does it fit, and it suddenly becomes part of your being. Integration of a ketamine experience is very different because it is a very different experience. You have to have a deep experience with that compound of that spirit, that signature. Get to know it personally, and then you'll be able to integrate it because you'll be able to understand what's actually going on. And I had started to tune in already to the fact that I'd paid such close attention to what these compounds were doing. I noticed the patterns and how they were leading me to portals where I can cross over into a different vibrational field in my mind. And I began to notice that those patterns and those signatures were available to me in other ways. I could kind of tune into them, pop a chocolate or something like that, right? It's pretty cool. But I was still using the other things, not dependency, but you know, it's a nice tool and it works, and I could just kept on using cannabis all I wanted. Now I've got a unique relationship with cannabis. It can be a trickster. It can be a trickster. People can kind of fall in love with it and lose themselves a little bit. But I've got a very long history with that. Like, it was since I was a kid. Not that I smoked it. I was introduced to it like 6th grade or something. Didn't smoke a lot in high school. I was an athlete. I was kind of, and I didn't smoke, you know, a couple times in college or something. Again, I was an athlete, and but cannabis was in my field: marijuana, pot, etc. Never bought it. Never bought it as a kid. Never had an opportunity. People would have it, maybe. Curtis. But then I got my medical license at the suggestion of 3 different doctors. Mercy, we need to keep her field clear. And so when she's working with me and helping me to release these traumas, all the chemicals come out. The cannabis introduces some distortion for Mercy, and the ketamine is just difficult on her system, right? So, okay, we need to back off on those, right? To support her, my dear, what do you need? What do you need? And so she's saying this. She's asking me in ceremony, when was the last time you had some cannabis? When was the last time? So she can understand what's going on. She says, okay, it would be good if we can do without those and start really leaning into how do we get into those nooks and crannies without it, right? Scary, very scary. Sharon used to use that word, scary. I like that, Sharon. Until you got really scary. Whoa, you got scared, and then you turned really scary. And hurt me. Wow. Not like just emotionally. I mean, it's like, yeah, had me put away. Told stories, had me put away. Also when that lights came on at 6:01, my TV, my Samsung frame TV just came on automatically. Usually I figured to go to the home screen or something. It triggered something. It did one of those, the when you put the fireplace up on it, the logs and fire burning. I was like, wow, that's cool, because Mercy was talking about having a fire, like candles, and we're gonna have some fire in there. So mystical, so beautiful. These things they sound crazy, right? But when they start showing up all day long, and then it's like, jeez, you just can't, you can deny it all you want, but that's why you're gonna stay in that little box on your head, top of your head there, that box that you're trapped in. I actually had to put my siblings on notice that they were dangerously close to completing a pattern that the legal system would define as harassment, if they haven't already. It requires 3 incidences, and I've told them to stop. You've cast me out. Now every time you reach out, you remind me. Stop. You don't want to be in my life, then go. No. Literally, it causes me additional pain and suffering when my sister Kate or Liz doesn't reach out. She just disappeared. She was like attached to my hip my entire life, and then suddenly, poof, because I busted her. She freaked the fuck out. It's a tough path. I've given up a lot. I've had to give up a lot of people. When I say give up, what I mean is, you say, oh, well, you gave them up. Well, deal with it. Yeah, I do have to deal with it. I had to give them up because they wanted me to be something for them and weren't letting me be me. So I either comply go along, continue to be miserable, live in their little box where they want to keep me, or I have to trust in myself and in God and Spirit and that which flows through me. Again, I don't have any choice. I made a deal. I was at my most desperate point, and I begged for mercy, for God's mercy. And He sent her, quite literally. I'd met her, 2.5 years before. We continued to grow our friendship. She'd always said, if you ever need me, I will be there. Sure enough, she came. She came to nurse me not back to life. She gave me life for the first time ever. She just sang pure love into my heart. Wow. That was unreal. That was back last summer. My entire life I've been looking for that special someone. I thought it was to take the form of these relationships I was seeing all around me, these marriages and the struggle over sexual intimacy. And something just kept telling me I'd love to have a relationship that was just grounded in friendship. Grounded in friendship. I didn't know quite what that meant, but that was the only title I saw. I was done with the rest. I said, for just everything, interaction between two entities, it's friendship. Full allowance. I have never experienced something so deeply intimate, just plain intimate. Sexual intimacy gives you a level of intimacy, right? That's a type of we have all sorts of relationships, and they all express different flavors of intimacy. Intimacy, intimacy. It's vulnerable. It's the king without his clothes on. The innocence of a child, and it takes the innocence of a child to recognize what I am. I sit before you naked for you to see me exactly as I am. This is the deal that I made when I told God that I'm satisfied I'd carry the ball as far as I could. And I it's time to call on the team. Being him. It. Her, whatever you want to call it. This God presence has for me a definite masculine. It is the divine masculine signature. Ladies, do not get upset. Holy Spirit is not to be slept on. I mean, wow, that's the real deal. I feel this Father energy in me, and I look at Mercy's got this Holy Spirit. This is, the image I've always kept in my mind is that the divine king walks half a step behind his queen. We know where the power is. He draws his power through this unique friendship. This king has no problems whatsoever kneeling at his queen's feet and washing them for her. And applying perfume, anointing them. No problems whatsoever. When Mercy mothers me, She does not diminish me. She lifts me up. I become more beautiful to her. The more ugly I cry. All I hear her say, I've never seen you look so beautiful. Wow. She doesn't lose sight of the man. No, he only grows larger in her eyes. Imagine that. For revealing himself completely. She looks at me with curiosity, with the, not like, oh, that's curious, but just, what, heart open. What is this unique expression? With the eyes of innocence of a child. That's what I'm asking all of you to try to dig into. Witness me with those eyes. Curiosity and compassion. Consideration. It's a beautiful gift. I saw a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. I saw what I call mastermind, when suddenly, in the mind level, everything makes sense. It's all, this is how it works. Total sense, yeah. And that's like, you never take that away. You see it all the time afterwards. Yeah, everything makes sense. You see disorder and I see perfect order. Everywhere. Especially in here. Even as I get thrown through the fucking tumble dry and wash. I'd seen all of these things. I felt a sense of completeness that, yeah, that's what I've been really yearning to see and understand. And still, the U2 song would keep singing, I still have not found what I'm looking for. That special someone. I thought it was Cher. I'll release a book before too long called My Dearest Sharon, where, I knew I was looking for what to call My Dearest Sharon, but I didn't know who she was anymore. I didn't know if it would be her. I left full allowance for that. But I left full allowance that it could have been any of you. I didn't know. There's someone out there, though. I've been feeling all my life there's someone out there that I'm supposed to come into relationship with to bring a sense of wholeness. So for me, I knew that was a woman, because it brings all of the parts of the human together into one coupling. I've got nothing against homosexuality. Excuse me. I'm going to wrap this up in a moment and call my dear friend right back. That's Mercy. Yeah. You can have your same-sex relationships. And look, I've had those experiences, right? That's one of the gifts of my abuse. You can't get around that. I've had those homosexual experiences. It wasn't my choice, right? But the truth is there. You gotta deal with it. That really forces you to look closely at your sexuality and who you are and what you are. So I know what I am, and I know who I am, and I know what I'm drawn to. And it wasn't just the little head saying that, no, that was driving me for a long time, but I knew energetically, vibrationally, harmonically, I saw the cosmology, and in my cosmology, those are the couplings, and they kind of grow around. The whole thing just and comes into coherence. somehow I started tuning into, I would really like to just start with something grounded in pure friendship. And I found it. I found what I was looking for in this beautiful friend. And I don't have to give up all the others. It's like, oh, so Jake, you're celibate now. It's all working down there. But it's no longer, the phallus pointing out, probing its environment. Fuck it or kill it. 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 You don't turn that off. You throw the clutch. Get everything in alignment. Now you're taking that sexual energy, that generative energy, that creative energy, and now you're circulating it inside yourself. And then when you come into relationship with that special someone, you don't release the clutch and say, boom, let's bang. No. You keep it there and you explore the relationship. That energy that was circulating in you, instead of just blowing your load and now it's circulating because it's already circulating in her. Mercy's at a powerful time in her life. She's coming into her wisdom years and experiencing the profound effects of menopause. Been through that with Sharon before. It's a powerful time. Chaotic. I'm grateful Mercy's got her shit together in a way Sharon did not and does not. Recognizing that where she was in life and what it is hers to do here. She's got to focus on her healing and on her healing others. And that's where my focus is too. No, we're not going to detract from that. And it's not like our relationship could grow into anything. It could grow into anything. And it will grow into all sorts of things. And there is no pressure of it getting anywhere by any point in time, because every single moment the relationship is exactly what the two of us need. And I've said it time and again, but my God, holding that woman's hand, man, it's bliss. And it's like, I could not even imagine. Mercy and I have never even shared a kiss. So it was but no, that's like not even, yeah. No. It's divine. It's absolutely divine. Perfection. Grace. Whatever you see here, I hope you also see a man who counts himself exceptionally lucky. For all of this, I asked for all of this. I did. I don't know what I was thinking. Certainly didn't know it would be this, but there was just something in me. But when I made that deal with God, that was the old, not my will, but thy will. I'm giving up my plan, man. Whatever flows through you. G, man, whatever flows through me, it's yours. Whatever you want to do with this, it's yours. I'm done with this. I've done the best with it. Now it's yours. And so he said, then make yourself visible. Let them see you. As you are, just let them see you. Invite them to see you. And so that's what I'm doing. I don't know what comes of it. I don't. I know I can't work. And I know I don't have resources. And it feels like everything is crumbling down around me. And I just got to hold my breath and be hopeful. And or no. Trust. Trust, trust, trust. Yeah. Quite a day. Quite a day, and things are still settling down. I think we'll chill out a little bit. Maybe watch a Disney movie. I love Disney movies, man. Shh. Watch Finding Dory. Oh, man. What a beautiful movie. I watched Finding Dory once as unintentionally as part of a journey, medicine journey. I was using mushrooms. I think I had a couple grams of mushrooms. It was wild. It was like, oh man, the wisdom in that story, multi-level. It was just. There was another one too that was just blowing my mind. I forget which one it was, but yeah. That or maybe I'll watch some West Wing, hang out with my friends, Leo and Toby. That show is cracking me up though, because I always saw that as so. I thought that administration, the Bartlett administration, was so keen and earnest, and they're political hacks. Jed Bartlett, my God, where is your fucking integrity and your spine? At every turn, he turns away from the right thing and moves towards political expediency. So disappointing. So disappointing. Afraid to make a profound statement. Say, love me or not. Re-elect me or not. This is the right thing, and I'm going to show you what it means to do the right thing. No. They're all snakes. They're all snakes. They're just playing the game. It's a perfect reflection of what's going on. And do not be fooled that the Democratic Party is liberal and empathetic. You're not. You're all about the rules. The rules. Rule of law. Watch MSNBC. I love them. They're brilliant, brilliant minds. Chris Hayes, brilliant. Rachel Maddow, brilliant. Super, super intellectual and lost in your heads. Ari Melba, lost in your head. Rules, rules, rules. Every rule, every law takes away freedom. There ain't no way around it. And how many pages of laws do we have? I'm not advocating or agitating for change. I'm just pointing it out. If you cannot feel the chains, you are not yet human. If you cannot feel the chains that bind you, do not tell me that since you do not see me in this go-round as African American. Look, my blood goes to Senegal, right? It's slave trading. No, I was not collecting slaves. No. My blood goes to Senegal as one of my brothers and sisters of color. Yes. Yes. So I knew what it felt like then, and I know what it feels like now, and it is the same. The plantation is bigger, and the chattel slavery is more insidious. Look up the definitions of chattel slavery and tell me that capitalism does not put you in that box. It does. It does. I simply ask that you consider this for all of our good. I'm just Jake, painting the sky. You know, when the weather's rough in it, and the sun needs a little help, turn on the lights in the gallery. You see the lights in the studio? Do you see the light in the gallery? This is Alan. This is Betty. We are Jake, Alan, Betty, Cosmic Buskers. Saying thank you for witnessing. Until next time.